I just have two questions unrelated. The first is regarding Sterling and how just kind of he seemed to just inject some energy to you guys last week in his return. I just curious what you saw out of him in the game and what you kind of where you thought he brought the offense.
Yeah, Sterling's just a good football player. Played against him for a number of years, and real fortunate to get an opportunity to work with him now. And he's probably the most accomplished, skilled player that we've had, a veteran guy who's made a lot of plays in this league during his time with the Giants, and just good to get him back. He's a really smart football player. He's got great quickness, change of direction, got a good feel and instinct for playing. He's got savvy, he's quarterback friendly, and he has playmaking ability. And I think we saw all of that in the game the other night. So great to have him back on board. Certainly helped our offense. Just
second question unrelated to that would be the close games you guys have been involved in, a number of them this year. You pulled out the Washington game, but some others you haven't. What is it going to take to kind of get over the top on those, and what can that do for the team's confidence once you do kind of solve that riddle?
Well, I don't know that you ever solve it. Every week in the NFL, these games come down to one possession, and it's really all across the league. If you look at the stats, the teams that make the playoffs, the teams that don't make the playoffs, the number of one-score games, they're pretty similar. And, ultimately the teams that get a chance to play in the postseason are the ones that win these games. And it ultimately comes down to execution in all three phases, all the stuff that you emphasize from day one throughout your football team. That's the stuff that wins the game at the end of the game. And, at times this year we've done a good job of that. Other times we simply haven't. And we have to do a better job. Us as coaches, we always look at ourselves first. We're putting our players in position to execute really throughout the game and certainly at the end of the game. And then it's the execution by the players. So it's never solved. It's never like, hey, it's this mystery that we got it, somehow, some way we're over the hump. Every week in the NFL, you have to go out there and do it. You have to execute it, nut cut in time, and hopefully we'll continue to have some opportunities to do that, and we'll come through.
Thanks, Jason.
Pat Leonard.
Hey, Jason, what was it like practicing with 4 offensive linemen yesterday, and how did your 5th fill-in do?
It was a really interesting challenge. Obviously, I don't know that we've ever been out on a practice field where you try to function, with 4 offensive linemen, a couple of young guys playing out of position, and then Eric Tomlinson playing right tackle for you. But I thought those guys handled it really, really well. Coach Judge did a great job organizing the practice in such a way that it could be productive for everybody. And I thought those young guys benefited from the reps and handled themselves well. And, hats off to Eric for being able to jump in there. He's a good football player. He's a smart guy. He's a tough guy. Handled the work well and allowed us to function. I thought we got something out of yesterday's work.
Thanks. And one more, if I may. I know you're focused on the Giants, but the Dallas Cowboys are reeling. Do you feel maybe you were underappreciated at the end there, given how things have kind of gone off the rails there?
Yeah, you said it right. Just really focused on what we're doing here and what we're trying to do to play our best football Monday night against Tampa. So that's really where my attention is.
A guy that you have seen and played against and coached against for a long time, that's a former Giant, Jason Pierre-Paul. What are you seeing, when you watch Jason Pierre-Paul on film now? And are you at all surprised that this far into his career he's as productive as he still is?
He's a hell of a player and has been for a long time. And you said it, had the opportunity to play against him a number of times when he was playing here and I was coaching in Dallas. And just the utmost respect for him as a player. Always been someone who was disruptive, both in the run game, affecting the quarterback in the passing game. Always had playmaking ability. Always one of those guys when you're breaking the huddle, you're saying, where's number 90? And, it's great to see him continuing to do so well in his career and certainly be a great challenge for us on Monday night.
Everybody, when they talk about Tampa, obviously says Brady. But if you look at their defense, I think they're third against the rush, the second in the league in sacks. I mean, how much of a headache are they?
Oh, they're really good on defense. Obviously, Tom Brady makes a big difference to the football team. He's doing a great job with their offense and doing a great job leading their team. But this defense is really, really good. They're stout. You said it. Great against the run. Great affecting the quarterback. Great taking the ball away. the way they play leaps off the tape. Todd Bowles does a heck of a job putting these guys in position to have success. Starts up front. They got really good down guys, fast, aggressive, playmaking linebackers. They're good on the back end. It all works together. They pressure you a lot of different ways. They win one-on-one matchups really across their defense. As rushers, defeating blocks in the run game, making plays in the pass game. So there really are not many holes in this defense. You know, if you look at it, they're 28, 29, 30 stats that you look at with defenses each week. They're in the top 10 and you know, probably 2/3 of those. They're in the top 5 and probably a third of them. So they're really good. There are not many holes, a lot of good players, an excellent scheme. It'll be a hell of a challenge for us.
We got time for 3 more, Jordan, Ralph, and Zach. Jordan?
Hey, Jason. In a situation where Devonta Freeman isn't able to play, how much do you feel like you can lean on Wayne Gallman to handle a heavy load, or would you rather spread it around?
Well, Wayne did a really nice job in the game, got some extended work against Philadelphia, and really responded well. And, you know, Wayne's still a young player, and we're trying to help him grow and develop as a player and be a complete back for us. And I think there's been evidence over the first part of the season where he has demonstrated that. Inside runner, outside runner, pass receiver, pass protector. I think we saw all that. And, you know, again, we're trying to help him continue to grow as a player. You know, Burton Burns and Stephen Brown do a great job with him, and I think Wayne's embracing the opportunity. You know, hopefully Devontae is ready to go. Deion's been a real asset for us, and you know, we have Alfred Morris as well working on our practice squad. So we have a lot of confidence in each of those guys, and again, trying to help them grow and develop as players and help us.
Ralph?
Hey, Jason. Back to what happened yesterday. Everyone always seemed pretty sure that you were going to get most of your offensive line back by today. But I'm curious, when that happens, are you just sort of trying to get through the day of practice, or do you have to actually take time out of your preparation to figure out emergency scenarios? You know, what happens if we only get 3 guys back or 2 guys back or something like that?
Well, you know, I think anytime, you know, as a football coach, you're always thinking about contingency plans for any situation. And I think all of us, you know, in football and out of football in 2020 are having to think about contingency situations. So yesterday was an up close and look at it for us as a coaching staff. And again, I thought our players responded well to it. But you're always going through those what-if situations, and you're probably doing it more so now, just because of the situation that everybody's in around the world with COVID. So you try to make sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and more so now. And we've talked about, you know, different situations. You throw out different hypotheticals and just say, how would we respond to this? The thing you don't want to do is chase ghosts all over the place and spend all your time on stuff that, you know, the likelihood of it happening isn't very high. But having said that, you know, yesterday we had a number of offensive linemen who weren't in our building. So that's a real life situation that we have to contend with and have to be ready for.
Last question here, Zach.
Jason, just to kind of follow up on that, I mean, how much of a relief was it that you're going to have those guys back today? And how much does losing yesterday impact you guys at all, if anything?
Again, I thought our guys embraced the heck out of yesterday and really handled it well. And it was a productive day for us. And, you know, really excited to get the rest of the group back, though. And it helps the flow of practice, but more than anything else, it's a Thursday practice for us. So it's a critical day, the third down day. This defense is really good on third down. They're really good on all downs in all situations. So getting these guys back, putting their pads on, getting a chance to go through a typical Thursday practice will certainly help us for Monday night.
How much, to follow up on that, I mean, how much was yesterday's practice different than, you know, than it would have been if you guys didn't not have all those guys?
Probably a little bit more of an emphasis on some of the early down passing games, some 7-on-7 type stuff. But again, we did team stuff, you know, with that group, and the guys handled it well. It was good reps for them. A little bit of a challenge for the guys on defense because typically you have a scout team offensive line going against your first defense. So we didn't have enough guys for that, so we had to manage that situation. I thought Coach Judge and Patrick did a great job, you know, getting the looks our defense needed as well. So a challenging day, but our guys embraced it. You know, we've been talking about, you know, being mentally tough enough to be your best regardless of circumstance. and thriving under adversity from day one, in the offseason. So a good example yesterday of our guys stepping up and getting that done. But again, certainly excited to have our guys back today to have a more normal practice.